Hey guys, how you doing tonight? Yesterday was a crazy day, and today things were much better, except right before I got on here to tape, it was a troll. I think somebody left some troll food on the page that I advertise the videos on, the public Facebook page, not the group. We don't have a group anymore. A group is gone, and I'm thinking that it's much better gone, because then we'll never have to deal with anything like that again. So the page is going to be there, like I said, to promote the videos. Well, trolls came out tonight like crazy. And it's so funny when you talk to those trolls, because first they came on nasty. Then when nasty got them blocked, they came on all sweet and sugary. Oh, couldn't we settle this amongst ourselves? Just to get me to respond, to get off with them and fight. And and then when that didn't work, they brought out the ammo again. The best one is when one said something like, what do you think this is proving? Oh no, so what are you proving by this? I said, I'm not proving anything by this. You're doing all the work. All of you coming here and showing your vile selves. I said, you couldn't have made this any easier for me to show how vile you people are. It was simple. And right after I said that, bam, they started deleting their comments like lunatics, because it struck a nerve. They must have thought to themselves, well, how stupid are we? Let's go on there and show just how nasty we are. And, you see those memes they made with Saint Shanann and all that stuff. It's sickening. And then she goes in her defense, well, I made one for Chris too. And I'm like, oh, wait, where does that correlate there? He's not a victim. See, they've got that same Cindy Watts brain on. He's not a victim. It's okay for you to mock a victim by telling us that you mocked him too? Yeah, I really do feel sorry for them. They must have pitiful lives that they've even got to come on there and waste their energy doing that. And then they're yelling at me, and I'm thinking, like, you brought this on yourselves. You brought this all on yourselves, and now you're here bringing more stuff on yourselves by being on this page. Just get off this page and leave me alone. You've done enough, but they're sick people, and I'll just continue to block them, and so that slowly and surely they'll see. And I'm sure we're going to be bombarded with comments on YouTube, wherever. Who the heck cares, right? We know who we are, we know who they are, and whatever. But anyway, yeah, just be wary of anybody suddenly friending you on Facebook or, sending you a message, because the trolls can see who's there, and they've probably taken note of that, and they'll probably go on some kind of a little phishing game. So just make sure if you're accepting friend requests or messages from people, who they are. Okay. What was I going to say? And again, thank you guys for all your support. That was amazing. So you know what? Really, I see a silver lining in it, that I don't have the stress with the Facebook group anymore, with the behind the scenes stress. I feel bad that you guys don't have a place to go and discuss, because I know some of you enjoyed it, and I'm sorry about that, but I think there is a silver lining in it all, that we've seen that we are together for the good of all victims. And because they're doing it to Kelsey Barrett groups too. Did you know that? Mm-hmm. It seems they don't like when people advocate for victims of crimes. They're against that, apparently. I mean, because they're taking down all the groups that advocate for the victims. But you know what? You don't stop fighting the good fight, right? And there's something my daughter always says, and it's actually a quote of Conan O'Brien's, which I think is very good. Nobody in life gets exactly what they thought they were going to get. But if you work really hard and you're kind, amazing things will happen. I think that's true. Sometimes we set out to do things don't fall exactly the way we want them to, but again, sometimes I shouldn't say sometimes, that just takes us a different way, And you really have success without failure. And the thing is, I just want to address one other thing, because I know some comments have said, well, welcome to the internet to me and all this. I'm very familiar with the internet. I've been working on the internet for about the last 20 years or so, okay? In one way or another, in digital marketing and advertising and journalism and in sales, because I was the national sales director for an entertainment and production company too. And so in various aspects, I've worked online and in web publishing. I've been in web publishing for the last, with my own blog and being a staff writer for other guides and a contributor in magazines like Parade and stuff like that. And writing for a site like Retail Me Not, the ones that have the little rebates. Used to write for one of those, and I used to have to do all the descriptions, designing the website and coming up with the store descriptions isn't the fun writing, but I used to do the sales blogs that came up in addition to doing my own. And so yeah, I've been working like that, and I will tell you, I've had other Facebook groups. I still have Facebook groups for collectibles that I collect and stuff, and I've never, and maybe I'm lucky, seen the nastiness. And even on my own blog, I can tell you in 10 years, if I've had one nasty comment left on my blog, right? And since this Watt stuff, and they're so silly when they leave it, because my blog, the way it's set up, if you've never left a comment, you will never get the comment approved. It's got to go through moderation, and that's me. So I don't even know why they spend the time doing it, because I just delete it. But I guess they have to. But I never saw this level of nasty until this case, until true crime, really. I've been on YouTube since 2012. I've been blogging since 2010. And like I said, I've been in web publishing for at least the last 15 years. I've never seen anything like this. So yeah, I mean, it's just, I guess it was shocking. What was most shocking was just the way that it was done and the loyalty that was breached. But live and learn. Let's go on. Just, I want you guys to stay safe and just take note of who's leaving the comments. And if someone is messaging you, I'll tell you something, and you want to check, we know the members of their group. So if you want to check, let me know, and I can take a check for you. If you say, hey, Fancy Smancy is messaging me, I'll tell you if it's a member of the group. Okay, so what I want to do today is I'm excited for tomorrow. That doesn't sound like I have too much of a life, right? No, but I am a little excited to see what happens in that Kelsey Barrett case when that nurse goes in and pleads guilty, because that case has just been dragging, right? It took so long for them to get him, and I think when we're comparing it to the Watts case, I mean, we said it last night in the chat, could he have gotten caught any faster? That was just crazy, wasn't it? It was absolutely insane. And that case was moving at like breakneck speed, okay? So, from you're hearing they're missing to, oh my gosh, the father's confessed, oh, he's in jail, oh, he's taking a plea deal, okay, and that's what left us so feeling like, what happened, and trying to dive into these details. Whereas the Barrett case, everything is hush-hush, he's not admitting any guilt. It will be very interesting to see what her plea deal is. Aren't you interested in that and wonder what that's going to be? So what is she going to give them for that plea deal? Of course, she's going to testify against him or whatever, and she's going to use the excuse that she was scared. But I went through that yesterday. If she was truly scared, why didn't she meet with those attorneys that wanted to meet with her? She said, oh no, he's changed his mind. She was also able to drive by herself. He never left the state, so he wasn't holding her at gunpoint through Idaho, you know what I mean? So I don't buy that at all. It's kind of, to me, like the Jodi Arias thing, that she was, a victim of domestic violence, and that's why she attacked him, and that's why, that's why you shot him and stabbed him 47,000 times. And I mean, it just seems almost like what Chris did when he said that Shanann killed the girls, so whatever. But I guess they feel maybe they don't think they're going to budge him with a confession, and so they're going to call on this mistress, or whatever the heck she is. Who knows what she is? One minute I hear it's a mistress. They've had a long time relationship. Sometimes people say that one of the kids is his. There's so many rumors flying around, like with everything else. So we'll see what that brings. I'm going to just go over that a little bit of the Peterson case, a little bit of fun factoids. And then I think I'll start taking a look at some of the questions that you guys put up there. My son built my computer. I wish I could show you. It's over there. It's really neat. It has these colored LED fans in the front of it. And you know what's so funny? My husband and my son, they're ordering all this stuff, and then my son's like, I got you. I said, what kind of case you get me? Oh, I got you this case. It's really. And I said, oh my gosh, it looks so plain in the front. Right? So he's like, well, which one did you want? I'm like, I wanted this one with all the lights. He's like, oh, those are fans. I'm like, but they're lights to me. So they change in all different colors. And it was the same price as the case they were getting me. And my son's like, okay, well, the other one's on its way. Just return it. Go order the other one. So I ordered it. Now they're both like going crazy over that case. And I keep reminding them, well, I will only have that case because it was me. And my son's like, yep. But yeah, so I had to get the flashy. I like it a lot. It's a tower, right? It's a huge tower, because I had all of those components, and then he got the tempered glass so you can see through it on the side. And today I just got my video editing software onto there, so I'm going to try to edit this video on that PC. And I also downloaded that open broadcasting software on there. I got to figure out how to use that and play around with that. Also got to get, I guess, to use that. I don't know if I don't think I have to have a green screen, but my husband's trying to get something ready in our basement, making a little place for me to have stuff to edit photos, and so I don't have to go up all the way to upstairs. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I'm excited about that. Let me go on this Peterson stuff. Mike Peterson. I didn't go, I know somebody had said, I didn't go into the owl theory, or I laughed a little bit. It's not so much that I laughed a little bit. I think, I don't know. I live in an area where, I live in the country. Yeah, I live in the country. And I live on a lake. So we have bald eagles here. We have hawks of all kinds, red-tailed hawks. We have, of course, all the kinds of cardinals and all of the, chickadees, all that kind of stuff. And, of course, we have, big types of vulture-type birds, right? I have heard, now I have 3 dogs. I have a 5-pound, if she's 5 pounds, she's tiny, Maltese. When I bathe her, all of her hair goes down, and she reminds me of, I don't know if you guys have ever watched, probably some of you who are parents, I'm sure, have watched The Little Mermaid. And when the Sea King gets shriveled up by Ursula? That is exactly how my Maltese looks, because she stands up at the sink I have put a sink in just for them in my laundry room, my 2 little dogs. And she stands up there, so everything just goes in, and they always like King Triton when he got shriveled up. And then I have a Westie who's about between 12 and 15 pounds, probably between 11 and 15 pounds, depending on which day of the week. And then I've got a huge American Bulldog that she's probably close to 100 pounds. So, and all 3 of them are white. My veterinarian told my daughter when she brought them here, he said, what is your mom, hoarding only white dogs? And she's like, no, but I swear, my mother's favorite dog used to be a Scottie, even though she never had one. And now that my mother's gone, I see Scotties all over the place. And I have the Westie, right? The white one. Every time I see them, I go, should have got that Scotty. He would never have shown the dirt the way the Westie does. Because I don't know if you guys have Westies or any terrier probably for that matter. But they just love to get into everything. They're not these little froofy lap dogs that you see at Westminster when they're all froofed up. They were ratting dogs, and they have a tail on them that is such a sturdy tail because they used to like pull them out of the holes. And she will go, nothing. She thinks she's huge, okay? Nothing scares her. And she's gone after skunks. That was lovely. All kinds of things. Frogs, snakes. I got her off the frogs. She knows right now because I like the little leopard frogs and stuff. I'm like, Zoe, no. And she listens. But, yeah, she's just into everything. And then they also she likes to go under my van, right? So she goes under and her back rubs the bottom of my car so I could just bathe her. And then she's got like this brown strip going there. And I swear, I'm like, I should have gotten the Scotty. You wouldn't have shown the dirt. But yeah, so I'm constantly having to bathe these dogs and groom these dogs because we don't have groomers around us. I know you guys probably live in an area where the groomer comes in the van. Yeah, not up here, sorry. So I have my own tools, and sometimes it's okay and sometimes not so much. But anyway, yeah, we'll see, right? All right, so the reason I laughed a little bit is because I was going somewhere with this story. You see, they tell us all the time, like I have this woman down from me, and I live on a lake, so most of the homes are year-round homes, but some of the people don't live year-round, and more do than ever. And it's a lake that I grew up on and spent every summer on. And my parents built a big house, and then and my father bought a lot of the land around the lake, and I ended up building my house here. So, this one over here, she tells me she's got a poodle, a little toy poodle. And, one day I'm over there talking to her, she won't put that dog down. And I'm like, okay, what's going on with the dog? Oh, gotta be so careful. The eagle could come down and swoop her up. And I'm like, okay, the eagle. See, and I guess maybe I could see that, but where my dogs are, I've got the Westie and this big bulldog that are on that Maltese like 24/7 when they're outside, okay? And anything even comes close to that, I think they'd go nuts. And I should say knock on wood, because I don't want to have tomorrow an eagle takes my Maltese away and I'm on here saying, oh, I should. But even my Maltese, she's a little, she's tiny, but she likes to run around. We have an invisible fence, so, they can go, they can all go around and they don't have to worry about the road or anything, and you don't have to walk them. So, yeah, so I've heard that about owls and eagles, and we have them around. We have a lot of owls around here, a lot of owls. You can hear them clear as a bell, a lot of owls. And do you know, at night, they used to say the owls, there was something always, when I was on the lake in the summer and I had the windows open, I could hear something splashing in the lake at night. And someone told me it was the owls that were there. I think it could have been it sounded like they were swimming, okay? And at night, pitch dark, 2, 3 in the morning. So I never really went all the way out to check because it was enough but you heard splashing in the water and it was nightly. And somebody said, oh, it's owls. Somebody else said, could it be raccoons? I don't know what it was. Never found out about that. But anyway, there are a lot of owls. You will hear them. You'll hear them in the night. You'll hear them in the day. But I've never even ever had an owl come close to coming even anywhere near me, or knock on quartz, my dogs. So when I heard it, yeah, it was just, that part of it was like, didn't seem so plausible. And then I know some of you said, well, owls get really nervous if you're near their young, but where was Kathleen going to go near baby owls going in from the pool? See, I don't understand that. And then I don't think they walked around to the front. The pool was in the back, right? Didn't it come through like sliding glass doors on the back side of the house? Because aren't they saying, well, that's how that little drop of blood got out on the walkway because she got attacked by owls? But if she got attacked by owls, and I'm really trying to think with an open mind. I hope that the people that thought I was laughing, I'm really trying to think here. I'm not making fun. I'm really trying to think this out. If she was attacked by owls and there was that much blood from it that we saw on the stairs, wouldn't there realistically be a little more than just a little drop on the sidewalk? If she had lacerations like that and bruising and all of this, and wouldn't she have been screaming, and wouldn't he have hurt her? That's what I'm saying. He was just right there by the pool. And if she was just, it would be very unlikely that she would be attacked like that just walking from the pool to the house, because I don't think they had owls nesting on the lawn or the walkway. And if she was, wouldn't she be screaming? I mean, I could tell you if I had talons in my head that were causing lacerations to my skull, I would probably be screaming my head off. So I'm not trying to, just say, oh, that could never happen, because I am. And I hope the people that ask me about this can see this. But when I go through that part of it, I don't see how it's plausible. And you know what? You're free to debate it with me. Civilly, I'm totally fine. Tell me. Go in there and just tell me what you think if I'm missing something here, because it just doesn't seem plausible. Now, the reason this whole owl theory came up, and I don't know if you guys know this, they said on a further examination of the crime scene that Kathleen had a clump of her hair in her hand, and it had small little white feathers. But I don't know. She could easily have a clump of her hand if she had a laceration, and that laceration was through the skull, and a clump of her hair came out, and she put her hand back there, and maybe when she did, she fell, and so her hand was gripping it and ripped it out of her hand. Ripped it out of her head. Okay? The little feathers, I didn't see these little feathers. So who's saying that they're there? But if they're there, could they have come from something else in the house? Could there have been, anything else in the house? And I know they didn't have birds inside or anything, but is there anything else? Feathers are on a lot of different kinds of things, right? I don't know, but I'll tell you here, a lot of things came out in that staircase documentary, right? But we didn't see the owl theory. So Kathleen's 7 lacerations to the head, and the lacerations in Elizabeth Ratliff in similar circumstances 17 years before were shown. But one theory that wasn't played out in the documentary, despite being referenced in Michael's later hearings, was the owl theory. The theory was initially put forward by a neighbor of the Petersons, who just so happened to be an attorney too. And his name was T. Lawrence Pollard, or Larry Pollard. And in 2009, following further investigation into crime scene evidence, it emerged that Kathleen Peterson had been holding clumps of her own hair in her hands. Within this hair, now this is the microscopic feathers. Microscopic. I don't know. A microscopic feather. And I misspoke before when I said of the crime scene. It's the evidence. And it's coming 8 years, because she was killed in 2001 and this is 2009. So this is 8 years later. we already know that they complained how the evidence was stored, the contamination and all that. So could we really go to pick apart microscopic feathers? And could microscopic feathers come from any other thing, right? Cross-contamination, could she have had a hat on that had a feather embellishment earlier? You know, they're microscopic. Wouldn't we have more evidence if a talon did it to her head? Wouldn't we have something more? Wouldn't something have been noticed there? Like I said, a scream, more blood. Okay. So they were found along with wood splinters and cedar needles. Okay, so this Larry knew that barred owls were native to the area and had been responsible for various attacks on joggers in recent times. But you see, I looked up this too. And yes, there are joggers that have had a run-in with an owl. But not really to this extent that we're seeing here. Even one said the owl kind of flew past talon, went through her hair, but she didn't even have a scratch mark, okay? So they say various attacks, not vicious attacks, various attacks, okay, in recent times. And he theorized that Kathleen, see, this is his theory, okay, may have been attacked outside by one of these owls, which may have become entangled in her hair. And the lacerations to Kathleen's head, according to these experts, could have been caused by the owl's talons. Now, one of these experts, U.S. Army surgeon and owl expert, Dr. Alan Van Norman, noted that each laceration on Catherine's scalp had the appearance of a trident, with 3 limbs converging to a point at roughly 30 degrees from each other, and a 4th limb converging to the same point at nearly 180 degrees from the center limb of the other 3 limbs. It was thought Kathleen could have been attacked by the owl outside. Blood was reported spotted outside too, but we know it was just a small part. Now, this I'm very confused about. It was thought Kathleen could have been attacked by the owl outside? Where else would she get attacked by the owl? Inside? Inside the house? I don't think so. See, so I'm not laughing. Okay, I'm not laughing, but I'm not finding it plausible. And I'm really not finding it plausible that she got attacked by the owl inside the house. Because where's the owl? Okay. Now, it was thought Kathleen could have been attacked by the owl outside and then stumbled in disoriented from the attack before falling on the stairs. But where's the trail of blood? I mean, she's not going to bleed at all and then just go to the stairs and collapse there and then just bleed out? He's not going to hear her screaming on the way in? There's not going to be at least some feathers around or some evidence of an attack? I don't know. Heck, when sometimes I go out to my bird feeders in front and sometimes you see like flurries of feathers and you're like, oh no, did a hawk come down or what happened? There's usually some evidence somewhere when people have chickens and something happens. There's some evidence somewhere. I don't know. I don't know. So, Professor of Veterinary Medicine at the University of Minnesota, Dr. Patrick T. Reddick, agreed with the owl theory too. In my professional opinion, the hypothesized attack to the face and back of the head resulting in the various punctures and lacerations visibly in the autopsy pictures is entirely within the behavioral repertoire of large owls, he wrote in an official document. It might sound laughable. See, so even if I did laugh, they're saying it sounded laughable, so I'm just a laughable kind of person. It might sound laughable that an owl could have been the real culprit all the time, but the evidence was so credible that had Michael Peterson gone on to proceed with the second trial, it would likely have been submitted as a cause for reasonable doubt that Michael committed the murder. So, I mean, could you entirely rule that out? No. But there's a lot of things that you could pose something and not even in this case, and not rule it out in something, but that's not entirely plausible. And the rest of the things coming forward just don't add up. It doesn't add up to me. It doesn't add up. Okay, so that was the owl theory. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And it was Michael's second defense attorney, Mary Ju Darrow. She believed, so his, Michael's second defense attorney, Mary Ju Darrow, said that she believed the theory was possible. When you look at the injuries, they do appear consistent with being made by an owl's talons. But remember, she's working for the defense. And they just have to raise reasonable doubt. Okay? So, yeah, if this could any way be linked to that as a defense attorney, she's going to think of it as a theory. Anything to raise reasonable doubt there. Okay. Ultimately, however, neither Michael nor his attorney wanted to take the risk of a trial. She said, "I would hate to risk my client's life or future on that argument." It's probably a good thing. She added, as we know, instead of a second trial that Michael Peterson opted instead to take the offered plea, admitting to voluntary manslaughter in a technical basis while still maintaining his innocence. And Michael said accepting that offered plea has been the hardest thing he's ever done. Okay, I want to tell you about his boys, because his boys got themselves in a little trouble. Did you guys hear that murder in Texas where that guy murdered his wife, the mother of his 4 children, by tying, I think it was 110-pound cement weight around her neck and throwing her off a bridge after he beat her up and raped her. Then he put the weight around her neck and threw her off the bridge. And he was just sentenced today. He took a plea deal to avoid the death penalty. And he's sentenced to life in prison, and they had the mother collapsed outside the courtroom. It was horrible. And she was apparently screaming. People heard her screaming as she was going in the water, and they said then she was just gone. Sometimes, what a sick world. I mean, and the reason he did this, she wanted a divorce. People are sick. So she wanted a divorce. And again, now his kids have no parents. They don't have a mother. He's lucky that she has 2 sisters and a mom, but it's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous the way it's scary as anything to think it was some of the problem solving or, that people are jumping to. I mean, okay, so we have Peterson and so with, he says, his military, right? Because we know he lied about that, but his former. So instead of getting involved in the literary groups or things that are going on in Durham, he lifts weights at the YMCA, he swims laps in his pool, he spends time with his children, he listens to music, and he writes in his rosewood paneled study. And this was, prior to the murders, of course. So it says, if local people, and this is foreshadowing, right? This is before anything happened. If local people have noticed Peterson, it's probably for the actions of his oldest son, Clayton. A federal judge sentenced the 21-year-old in 1994 to a 4-year prison term for planting a pipe bomb inside Duke's main administration building. Okay. Clayton Peterson, his attorney and his father, said the young man never intended for the Allen building bomb to go off. Instead, it was meant as a diversion, while he stole equipment intended to make fake IDs that he needed for a resort in Myrtle Beach. He was going on a trip to Myrtle Beach and he needed fake ID. Mike says, I think this is the most painful thing that has ever happened to me. Well, the elder Peterson said, "This is not how I plan to spend my 50s. Well, I don't think you're going to be planning to spend 8 years in jail, but that's coming up there too. Going to visit my son in the pen. No, and your son will spend time visiting you in the pen. Memories of how his son was treated by Duke and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms won't soon fade," Peterson said. Okay, "I'll never get over that," he said. "They hammered him." "Well, you put a pipe bomb in a building. Okay, just let you off. No more pipe bombs." Yeah, I don't know. Just like these parents, like it's no biggie. What was it? A pipe bomb? He didn't even intend for it to go off. I don't know why everybody's making such a big deal about it. It's nothing. Pipe bomb. Kids do that all the time. So he says they hammered him. He did something wrong. There's no question. He should have been punished. But it was pretty excessive. My feelings for Duke have changed. Duke's feelings for you probably have changed too, since they almost had their building blown up by your son. Okay, so Peterson's serious tone lifts as he talks about his children still living at home. Martha, 13, a student at Immaculata Catholic School, Margaret, 14, at Jordan High School, Caitlin, 14, who attends Durham Academy, and Todd, 20, in school at North Carolina State University. Peterson cheerfully points out his 50-year-old homes. Now listen to this one, because guys, this is before this. Think how this is foreshadowing this. Peterson cheerfully points out his 50-year-old home's curving staircase, antiques picked up during years abroad, and landscaping that blocks out sounds of nearby Bull City hustle. Peterson said he grew up a military brat with the goal of being a writer. He read Hemingway and he idolized the hard-drinking, hard-living writer as a youngster. After majoring in political science at Duke and a brief stint in the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill Law School, Peterson turned to his life's calling. "But I don't have anything to write about," he said. "I was caught up in that Hemingway mystique. You had to live. You had to really live to be caught up in it. And if there was a war, you had to be in it." So Peterson went to Vietnam twice. "I went to see what it was like, and I did," he said. Peterson saw extensive action. He rose to the rank of lieutenant and earned 2 Purple Hearts, a Bronze Star, and a Silver Star. After several injuries, he was medically discharged at 50% disabled, but we know that he embellished, I don't know exactly what he embellished, I'll look it up, but he embellished these war injuries and the awards that he had, and the Purple Hearts, the Bronze, what he was awarded. So, offered vocational training by the military, Peterson returned to Duke. "I just wanted to learn." His first novel, A Look at 19th Century Vietnam, titled The Immortal Dragon, was published in 1984. After a time of war, 6 years later, Peterson became a full-time writer. "It was the hardest thing to be," Peterson said. "I really, really wanted to be a writer, and then I became one. I was thrilled. Still am." Whether his next book or the one after that garners him a spot in the Triangle Literary Pantheon, Peterson said he'll keep doing things the same way. It's not really what happened. And this is his quote, "Fame is something that can ruin your life. You become that persona playing the role. You can't get away. You're trapped by that. You're far better being who you are. I think it's far better to go out and experience things." Okay, so let's look a little more at what Clayton was charged with. So when he was a freshman at Duke University, he was charged with attempting to firebomb the university's main administration building. Authorities said they found 6 more bombs in his father's home. But his father's not really upset about this and thinks they kind of hammered him, right? As students prepared to pack up and leave for summer, Clayton Sumner Peterson, 19, was at Durham Regional Hospital under police order to undergo a psychiatric evaluation. He was charged with breaking into the Allen building and possessing an unregistered destructive device. Peterson, a tall, blonde engineering student with an athletic build, whose family lives in Durham, was described by the arresting officers as calm. On Tuesday, federal ATF agents searched the home of Peterson's father at Cedar Street. This is that house. They found 6 more assembled explosive devices hidden in the attic, along with a stock of chemicals and equipment that could be used to make more bombs. Clayton, where are you going with that stuff? What did you get there? Oh, just some stuff. I'm going to put it up in the attic. Okay. Where's Clayton? He's building bombs in the attic. Yeah. But the father doesn't think there's a little problem. What if those bombs exploded in the house? I mean, there's so many what ifs, but he thinks his son was hammered. They had it out for him, those parents that they're always like, oh, they just had it out for my kid. Yeah, they're picking on him because, he didn't say anything about it. He had 6 pipe bombs up in the attic. Okay. All right, so he had a stock of chemicals and equipment that could be used to make more bombs. And they also found a college ID camera and a laminating machine that had been stolen from the Duke office the same day the bomb was found. Okay. Peterson's father, Michael Peterson, had no idea the bomb paraphernalia and stolen property were in his home, he said. There's bomb paraphernalia upstairs? Stolen property? I didn't know. On April 24th, 1994, a Duke employee found the undetonated firebomb consisting of a gasoline-filled Gatorade bottle armed with a pipe bomb detonator in a closet in the registrar's office on Duke's West Campus. The 4-foot fuse had been lit. That's unsafe. But it went out 6 inches before it reached the fuel. No biggie. With that kind of explosive, and being that it was contained in the closet, it would have been an intense fire that would have spread rapidly, says Thomas Ferguson, an agent with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. The portrait of Clayton Peterson that emerged Thursday from his family and college friends was blurry and confusing. On the one hand, Peterson's parents were worried about his mental health. They're a little worried about his mental health, said Durham Police Captain E.E. Sarvis. We had some information that he should be evaluated, Sarvis said. It's not the kind of standard police procedure to evaluate the suspects before booking them. On the other hand, students who lived next to Peterson in the ICOC dorm, that's quite a name, and who saw him relaxing Wednesday at the beach while other classmates described him as a normal freshman. It's shocking, Levin Rao, 18, said as he stood in the ICOC dorm surrounded by the boxes and litter of departing students. He was such a normal guy. He was a little mischievous, maybe, but he fit in just like everyone else around here. Rao and Parag Pandey Pandy, 19, skied with Peterson last month. Pandy laughed in disbelief when he heard the news about his friend's arrest. Laughing. I wouldn't expect him to do that at all, said Pandy. He seemed like a perfectly normal person to me. So he's trying to say, well, he's insane. I didn't know he was that insane to do that. I thought he was normal. Duke's campus police found a note outside the Allen building the day the bomb was discovered. The unsigned note protested recent crackdowns of student drinking and efforts to stop the ritual bonfires that followed major basketball victories. Police said Thursday they think Peterson wrote the note. His classmates were incredulous. He had his opinion about the crackdown. He didn't like it, Pandy said, but we all did. But Rao and Pandy said they never dreamed he would take any drastic action. On Thursday, officials withheld many details about the investigation, which involved campus and city police, State Bureau of Investigation agents, ATF agents, and fire investigators. They wouldn't release the text or the note or say what led them to the Peterson home. They did say the attempted arson and other possible charges against Peterson are pending further technical investigation. Authorities are still uncertain whether the intruder really intended to blow up the Allen building. ATF agents have not concluded that the fuse was designed to ignite the firebomb. Okay, so now we've got some more information. This is back in 1994. This is what the defenders of the Duke University freshman, we're going to bring you right up to speed, accused of planning the firebomb, said he never intended for it to explode. Clayton Sumner Peterson was arrested on May 5th. On Wednesday, Peterson's father and his attorney said the engineering student designed a flawed bomb. He said he didn't do it too well, it was flawed. And he designed it as a flawed bomb because it was an elaborate smokescreen for his real motive, stealing equipment to make Duke ID cards. Along with the bomb, a Gatorade bottle filled with gasoline and armed with a pipe bomb detonator, authorities found a typed note declaring war against Duke because of a recent crackdown on student drinking and efforts to stop the ritual burning of campus benches after basketball victories. What a lovely group of entitled students, right? Why don't they let us burn those campus benches after the basketball victory? An ID camera and laminating machine was stolen from the registrar's office in the Allen building the day the bomb was found, police said. When investigators searched Peterson's father's home before making the arrest, they found ID equipment along with 6 more assembled explosives. It's an amazing story, and none of it makes sense to Michael Peterson. Oh. It's all bizarre. It all had to do with the fake ID card. The bombs, there's nothing. Investigators and Duke officials are not calling the firebombing a prank. Of course not. They say that even if the bomb was never intended to detonate, a lit fuse in the vicinity of the destructive device inside the campus building is a very serious offense. The building could have burned down, they say. That's what I thought too. I'm like, well, would a lit fuse in a building? Okay. Clayton Peterson is charged with breaking into the registrar's office, a state offense, possessing an unregistered destructive device, a federal charge. He is being held in the Orange County Jail. The student, who spent part of his teen years in Germany with his mother, and that's that whole dynamic with Patty and Michael and these kids. You don't really even hear the kids. You think they would be very attached to Patty because she had those girls. The youngest one was 18 months, and then I think the older girl was 3 at the most? I don't know. I just, something is so wrong there with that whole dynamic. Anyway. Okay, so the student who spent part of his teen years in Germany with his mother was sent there after spending several days in solitary confinement under an emergency suicide watch. Peterson will probably be evaluated at the federal prison in Butner, according to his attorney, Tom Zegan. Before leaving with classmates for an end of this semester beach trip, Clayton Peterson lost his fake ID card, his father said. See, what it is, guys. He lost his fake ID card. Now, any sane student would say, well, maybe someone can buy me some beer or lend me their ID card, he said. But, well, what does he think? Well, who has laminating machines? Buy them on Amazon. Well, Duke does. But if they found out it was stolen, friends would know. So basically, to hide that, he comes up with this stupid, elaborate, and without a question, dangerous hoax. You know, it was a diversion tactic. That's all it was, if you will. Without any idea that he's gotten himself involved with the Federal Bureau of Alcohol and Tobacco and Farms. Right, he has no idea, right? He's at Duke University, but he didn't even learn that. You know, that just, what am I doing? Bombs? Yeah. Breaking into a building? I didn't know that I was going to get in trouble for that. Thought that was like putting toilet paper on the trees outside. The straight A high school student, okay, so you should really know it, right? Straight A high school student whom his father and others describe as brilliant. Okay, so now we've got this brilliant university student doesn't realize that he might be getting himself in a little bit of trouble here. He has a pattern of heavy drinking, elaborate scheming, and stirring up trouble. That's a great combination, isn't it? It's almost, thought yesterday Charlotte's heavy drinking to cope with her grief was not a good combination, but here we have a pattern of heavy drinking, elaborate scheming, and stirring up trouble. Those are the kids you want your kids to hang out with. The elder Peterson said his son was suspended 3 times from high school. Okay. And arrested in 1993 for driving while impaired. Okay. And that led Duke to delay his admission until January. An alcohol, tobacco, and firearms agent said Interpol reports indicate that the teenager got in trouble in Germany for a firearms-related incident. Okay. What's the underlying root problem? Asked Michael Peterson. Let's ponder that for a minute. What's the underlying root problem? What do you guys think? It's an underlying root problem in that. I don't know. He doesn't know. His mother and I went through that, and we don't know. It's something more profoundly disturbing than a drinking problem. Yeah, it probably is, Mike. We're worried because he has done things. We're worried because he had done things in high school. Enough things that we thought there was something bothering him. Whether it was because my wife and I were having troubles with our marriage or what, it made us wonder. You wondered about him? Yeah. Think we should take him to a counselor or anything? I don't know. Where's he now? He's upstairs with some chemicals and some, pipe bomb building materials. Give me another glass of wine while you're in the kitchen? Okay, thanks. Okay. The question remains, did Peterson deliberately design a flawed bomb? Probably not. His attorney says the engineering student knew exactly what he was doing. So he cut the fuse and attached the electrical tape, which can't burn, to separate the burning fuse from the bomb. But ATF agents are not sure. They wonder whether Peterson was concerned he had designed the bomb with a fuse that was too short to give him time to escape, and at the last minute, clumsily taped on more fuse. Clayton Peterson always had a knack for making mechanical things work. As a boy, he would assemble or fix broken parts of his sister's Christmas presents. But that talent led him to notoriety far different than the one his friends or family expected. The latest chapter in his story was that he was sentenced by a federal judge in Greensboro to 4 years and 1 month in prison. His crime, breaking into the Duke University administration building, stealing $1,700 in equipment used to make school identification cards and placing a firebomb in a first-floor closet to distract attention from the theft. How should we detract attention? Let's get a bomb and blow that place up. That'll detract a lot of attention. And then leave a note that it's about that we're upset that we can't burn the benches after the basketball victories. Yeah, that's good. So we'll show them, we'll blow the building up. The bomb did not explode. Peterson said he rigged it not to. But its discovery rattled the prestigious university. No kidding. And it left many wondering why this promising Duke student had done such a thing. At Thursday's 5-hour sentencing hearing, families and friends described a young man deeply troubled by his parents' separation and anxious for acceptance by his peers. Peterson, who had received psychiatric counseling for years, started as a Duke freshman in winter, and the university postponed his entry following a drunk driving charge. He enjoyed partying at school, and when his false identification was stolen, he needed another to continue buying alcohol and fit in with his new friends. Family members said he decided to steal special photography and lamination equipment from the school to make another driver's license with a false date of birth. As he left the administration building, he lit the fuse to a small pipe bomb that he had submerged in a quart jar of gasoline. Peterson said the fuse was cut so it wouldn't detonate the bomb, though federal authorities doubt his claim. He also left a note in the building's basement that condemned administrators for prohibiting kegs of beer at campus parties. So he spent 4 years in federal prison there. Okay, so now he's at the penitentiary, Clayton, surrounded by endless coils of barbed wire and armed prison guards. The Federal Correctional Institution in southeastern Virginia is a world away from the Gothic beauty of Duke University, right? That world of privilege, living in that huge house, and it's quite different. He's in a big house now, but he's got a very small room. For inmate number 153670057, former Duke student Clayton Peterson calls the federal penitentiary 200 miles north of Durham his home. At a time when his college buddies are prepping to graduate, Peterson is serving a 4-year, 1-month sentence for planting a homemade pipe bomb into the Duke administration building. He spends his days working for 12 cents an hour and sleeping in a cubicle the size of a walk-in closet. Prison is not a horrible pit that they throw you into, Peterson said during an interview at the federal facility. It's what they take you from. Your family, your home, where you grew up as a boy, things you used to be able to do. You're just away from everything you love. Almost 3 years had passed since a Duke registrar found the bomb, which failed to detonate in the school's Allen building. What the explosive device did destroy, though, was a life of privilege and a college freshman's sense of invincibility. I lost so much and fell so far, Peterson said in his first extensive public comment about the case. A lot of innocence and naivete is gone. A lot of trust. I'm just harder. He's become known as the Duke Bomber. That's so good. Hey, it's Duke Bomber. It's a lot different than the Bronx Bomber, right? So is that like the Bronx Bomber? No, it's on account of the pipe bomb that I planted in the administration building. Oh, okay. He was arrested and imprisoned for a crime, he says, was inspired by the pursuit of an underage college student's most prized possession, a fake ID card. Stripped of his freedom, Peterson looks now with longing at the life he took for granted. Successful and supportive parents, a top-notch education, and financial comfort. I just want to be normal again. I'm no different. I'm just Joe College guy, he said. His father, novelist Michael Peterson, said prison has taken away not only his son's freedom, but also the 6-foot blonde-haired man's youth. You can't have that in a pen and survive, the elder Peterson said. Scheduled for release in 1998, in April 1998, Clayton Peterson had hoped to be transferred to a boot camp or facility closer to home, like the Federal Correctional Institution in Butner, a 15-minute ride from Durham. But the Federal Bureau of Prisons, they nixed that idea, saying Peterson poses too great a risk to be moved to a less secure facility. The names of other more notorious bombers are often invoked by prison officials, his father said. He sounds like he's almost a little happy. I'm surprised he didn't write a book about this. By the measure of federal authorities, Clayton Peterson's public safety factor is the same as Tim McVeigh and Ted Kaczynski. Hey, Clayton, great. The elder Peterson said, referring to the suspects in the Oklahoma City bombing and the Unabomber cases, respectfully, Clayton is identical to Tim McVeigh and Ted Kaczynski. Part of it I understand, but it seems ludicrous. Despite this, Michael Peterson readily admits his son's mistake. It wasn't a good career move. No. This guy, is this a joke? Wasn't a good career move. No. But he probably needed a reality check. When you do something wrong, you need to be called up on it. I'd rather he get this reality check now than 10 or 15 years down the road. That reality check was long in the making. Yeah. Raised in Germany, where his mother taught military dependents at a Department of Defense school near Frankfurt, Clayton Peterson remembers an early fascination with explosives. Ever since I was a child, I liked fireworks. The lights, the flash, the noise, the smoke. Bomb building hobby. The child, amused by Wile E. Coyote's antics with dynamite on Saturday morning cartoons, grew into a high school student who sneaked materials from chemistry class home for experiments. His introduction to bombs came courtesy of the Anarchist's Cookbook, a do-it-yourself handbook to explosives passed on by a high school friend in Germany. It's a good friend there. The recipe was simple. The ingredients easy to obtain. Crushed black pepper, from model rocket engines, a whipped cream cartridge to store the powder in a fuse available at any hobby store. Peterson never lit that first bomb. Later he would blow up a telephone booth and set off another device in a lake. You think there's a problem? No. You sure, honey? Yeah. You can give me another glass of wine? As an American military brat overseas, Peterson and his friends were pretty much untouchable. He said he had access to all the benefits of a military base without the restrictions of a military family, and in Germany, where teen drinking is legal, Peterson had ready access to alcohol. Alcohol, bombs, it's a great combination. We had the best of both worlds. You have alcohol and bombs? That's the best of both worlds there. After graduating from high school in 1993, he moved into his father's home in Durham's exclusive Forest Hills neighborhood. Peterson planned to go to Duke, as his father had. The transition from Europe, where Clayton Peterson had lived with his mother after his parents split up, to Durham was not so smooth, so the mama stayed back in Germany. He was used to going to clubs and drinking. It was socially accepted, said Peterson, a 1965 Duke graduate and former editor of the Chronicle, the campus newspaper. He was back in America, and suddenly he didn't go anywhere. He didn't drink. He didn't go to clubs. I think that was one of the drawbacks of that fake ID. Yeah. Just before the start of his fall semester at Duke, Clayton Peterson was arrested in Cary for drunk driving and resisting arrest. His second DWI charge in 6 months. As a penalty, so this is the second one. As a penalty, Duke deferred his enrollment until the spring semester, so Clayton went to North Carolina State University for a semester, commuting from his father's home. He had it really hard. Once at Duke, Peterson got his first fake ID from a shop near campus that specialized in supplying students with bogus driver's licenses, he said. But when his wallet was later stolen from his dorm room, Peterson had to start from scratch. The phony ID store had been shut down by the police in the meantime. Can you believe that? He felt lost without his fake ID. Peterson later wrote in an essay to a prison official detailing his experiences. I had used it to get into fraternity parties, mixers, and other college gatherings where beer was served, he wrote. I felt those social events were important to me and my personal happiness. With an end-of-year trip to Myrtle Beach fast approaching, the loss was even more acute for Peterson. I had envisioned myself being all alone in my hotel room because I didn't have a fake ID, he said. The solution? I'm going to break in that registrar's office in the Allen building and steal a laminating machine and photographic equipment. But even as he mapped out his approach, Peterson worried that the break-in would be connected to his pursuit of an ID, which he had already discussed with his friends. They're going to know it's me, because I told them about the fake ID, and now if it gets around campus that somebody broke in and stole that stuff, they're going to know it's me. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Oh, I'll build a pipe bomb. That will be a good diversion. So to divert the attention of investigators, he decided to plant the bomb. On the night of April 23rd, 1994, a Saturday, Peterson gathered the pipe bomb stored in his attic and a Gatorade bottle filled with gasoline, put them in his backpack, and he set off to go to the campus. Hey, son, where are you going? I'm just going to take this pipe bomb in my backpack and this Gatorade bottle that I filled with gasoline, and I'm going to bring it over to the Duke University Administration Building and plant it there. But don't worry, because the fuse is faulty. All right, have a good time, and don't stay out too late. He actually told them that he was going to finish writing an essay for a religion class. 2 a.m. Sunday, he broke through a window in the basement of the Allen building, which houses the office of Duke's president and other high-level administrators. He took a laminating machine, some blank Duke ID cards, a camera, a picture cutter, film, a microcassette recorder, a checkbook, and a word checker. A word checker. So I'm not such a wordsmith. Okay. Peterson left behind the pipe bomb. I'll leave this behind. It was immersed in the gas-filled bottle. It was in a closet. He left it. He also left a note criticizing the university's recent decision to ban beer kegs and to prohibit bonfires after basketball games, and measures to combat school drinking. Just ridiculous. Of course you realize that this means war, the note declared. I wanted it to look real, he said. It had to be convincing for me to get away with it. How'd that work for you? Not so good. Still, Peterson said he never intended for the bomb to detonate. In fact, he purposely cut the fuse in half and wrapped electrical tape around the two frayed parts to prevent it from igniting. You know, they had to make me out to be this horrible terrorist trying to destroy buildings and take human life, he said of the subsequent trial. When I tried to make it look convincing, that's where it came back to haunt me. Don't you love these guys, right? Everybody did this to him. This is, that's what came back to haunt him. That's his mistake. That's the straw that broke the camel's back, like Chris says. Dang, not calling 911, bringing them in the oil wells. It's a straw that broke the camel's back right there. Okay, so really, they had to make me out to be like this horrible terrorist trying to destroy buildings. Where would they get that idea? Take human life? That was such a crazy trial. And when I tried to make it look convincing, that's where it came back to bite me. I wanted it to be authentic. Marion Shepard, a Duke engineering professor and associate dean, offered a similar assessment of her former pupil's intentions. If Clayton Peterson had wanted the bomb to explode, it would have exploded. He's very good at building bombs. It was just intended to divert people's attention. The explanation doesn't satisfy Rick Glazer, the federal prosecutor who handled Peterson's case. Glazer, himself a 76 graduate of Duke, calls it revisionist thinking. That, to me, is rationalization in its worst form, said Glazer. An assistant U.S. attorney who heads the criminal division in Greensboro, the situation that he created was extremely dangerous. He created a bomb that was meant to go off, and he was just damn lucky that it didn't. What he did was wrong, dangerous, and deadly. William Osteen, the federal judge who presided over the Peterson trial, likened the young man's explanation to a bank robber pointing a gun at a bank teller and after it's over saying, "I'm just kidding. 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 I was just trying to see if I could do it. I'm totally kidding. You can put the money back now. I don't know. Maybe could you give me a couple 20s? Yeah. No, I'm kidding. Take it all. No, I'm just kidding. I was joking. It's not even a gun. It's not even a gun. I'm joking. Yeah. Okay. After Peterson's arrest for the Duke bomb, federal investigators searched the Durham home and found 6 other bombs and material to make 13 more. It's just a little hobby. 2 of the bombs were rigged to arrows that could be fired from crossbows. Oh, that sounds safe. So what's prison like for Mr. Clayton here? He says that his days in the low security facility are defined by routine. Awake every morning by 7, he reports to work 30 minutes later in the prison's mechanical services division. He earns less than $1 a day, typical prison wages for 7 hours of landscaping, plumbing, and electrical work. The money is used to buy toiletries, snacks, and other small comforts at the prison canteen. He knocks off work at about 3:45 and he rests until dinner at about 5. The evening is set aside for his free time. Peterson usually lifts weights, he watches television with other inmates, or he reads the magazines that he subscribes to, which are Popular Science, Electronics News, or those sent by his father, Vanity Fair, Sports Illustrated. Lights are out after the 9 p.m. head count, and every weekend, and sometimes more often, Peterson is visited by his girlfriend, a Duke senior, and his father, younger brother, and 2 sisters. It's not a horrible life, Peterson concedes. Most of the inmates he encounters are nonviolent, but they were convicted on drug-related crimes, many of which now carry mandatory federal sentences without parole. But it's still a rude awakening for the 22-year-old who's used to the material comforts in life. The young man who used to dream of being a scientist or an engineer now says he wants to be an architect. I want to be a creator, not a destroyer. Engineers, creators too there. Einstein. Okay. I know that it sounds crazy. It does. A bomb builder wanting to make buildings. I don't want to be remembered as the Duke bomber. It was one day. If I could take that day back, I would. It was just one day. I just wanted to be given a fair chance. I just want to be given a fair chance when I get out. Please stop calling me the Duke bomber. Just one day. So there we have Mr. Clayton, right? And as I was going to tell you about the money troubles, right? And what they related to, because that the defense said they didn't have any money troubles, but he most certainly did, because there are letters that he wrote to his ex-wife. And okay, so let's look at, so I want to do some questions. Maybe we'll stop here for Peterson and we'll go into the money and stuff, because Clayton's thing was kind of long. I'm going to look at some of your questions from YouTube and answer them. I might have to go on my phone and do it because my laptop is being silly. My laptop. So I'll go to YouTube over here and I'll take your questions. Okay. Oh, look at this. Cindy Watts is venting. Okay, so, all right, let me see here. This is by Marion Main. This is her question. Shanann was found still wearing her bra. A lot of people believe she was attacked and killed as she slept. But I don't know any ladies that go to bed with their bra on. What do you think about this? Well, this was discussed in, was this in a chat? When was this? I think it was in a chat. I think it was in one of the live chats of the videos. There are some women that sleep in bras. It depends how comfortable your bra is. There were women that were saying that they slept in maternity bras. There are women that said they sleep in a bra all the time. This is what it's come to. I have to laugh at this. Someone's telling me about the Facebook group and some biatches that have come over there. We'll deal with the biatches later. Okay, so let's go back to the question. There'll be plenty of time for the biatches later. Okay. So why don't you guys, well, why don't you ladies, women, or whoever wears a bra, chime in. Anybody ever sleep in a bra? I don't know. I mean, she had a t-shirt on, so I don't think that t-shirt was one that she had come home with, right? I don't think she was wearing a t-shirt when she got home. If she put the t-shirt on, now it could be also, if she didn't usually do it, it could be something when she was pregnant. I don't know. We'd have to find out what was normal for her. And I don't know, maybe would the people she roomed with in Vegas, would they know what she normally slept with? Probably. So, yeah, I can't answer for her except that she was in that t-shirt that she normally wore to bed. So, I don't know. She could have been, have you ever just come home and just absolutely exhausted? Or maybe she was in the process of just throwing the t-shirt on over her head, and maybe she was going to go wash her face or something. Maybe he called her into the, who knows? It's hard. That's a hard one. There's no definitive answer on that, but take a look at the live chat there. And thank you for that question, Marianne Main. Okay. So who else do we have? Karen McCann says, do you think that in the future there could be a possible arrest of NK? Because I believe, and so many people believe, she had some part in CW killing his family. I just can't believe that the police are just dismissing this so quickly. Or we could all be wrong, and they are keeping tabs on her. How would we know? They wouldn't make that public. Karen, this question. I'm looking at Karen because it's like, question, and then it's like, or we could all be wrong, or, well, what do you think about this? She's answering her own question. I think, but do you think maybe 5 or 10 years down the line, NK might have loose lips and tell someone she trusts about what she did those 5 or 10 years ago, and bingo, the police, I like bingo, I use the word bingo a lot, and bingo, the police get it on tape, and bye-bye NK. It's not far-fetched. Those kind of things happen all the time. Karen kind of did the work for me. No, right, yeah, good question. I say it a lot. I think that if she had something to do with this, I think her loose lips will be talking. I think they will be. I think it's very possible they've already done some talking. Do you remember, and a lot of people probably don't know this because who uses a phone book anymore? Let your fingers do the walking, right? So she's letting her lips do the talking, and she's probably blabbling. And if she hasn't done it already, she will do it at some point. And somebody mentioned, that case in Florida, and I've mentioned that as well. And that happened because somebody came and did some talking 20 years after they were scot-free? But 20 years later, this guy couldn't live with his conscience, and he came forward, and in coming forward, it incriminated someone else that probably had no thought of coming forward, but they were both convicted, and they're both put away, and that's after 20 years. So, maybe one day, some friend will be sitting there and say, you know what? I'm getting tired of this. I'm going to come forward. Or maybe she's going to cross one of her friends. I mean, the way she treated Charlotte, your father's dead. He's not coming back. Me coming to the wake or not, it's not going to bring him back. Is not the most caring friend in the world. So, maybe the friend's going to get pissed off at her one time, and maybe it's going to come out. And remember, Charlotte is a heavy drinker. So maybe someone's going to get Charlotte sitting around. You want another one, Charlotte? Charlotte, can I top that off for you? Oh, drink up. What's going on? Anybody live near Charlotte? Take her out for a couple of drinks? Just, shoot the breeze with her a little bit at the bar. I get you another? So yeah, who knows, right? Who knows what Charlotte's going to cite? So we have the Casbot, and she's saying, what for you is the most telling evidence to support that NK was involved with the Watts murders? Well, I think she could have been involved with the Watts murders because right away she lied. In all of her interviews, she's lying. And I just think that, she needed further investigating. Do I know 100% she did something? No. But I find it troubling that someone is coming into that situation and is acting so cavalier the way she is. And, she's just sitting back on the chair, flipping her ponytail around. She's not at all nervous. It's not even nervous. She's not even shaken. You know what I mean? You'd be like really shaken. You're not seeing that. And then you're seeing all these lies, and you're seeing the deletion of all these texts, and then you're hearing about how she called her friends and that her father helped her scrub her social media, right? And so why does an innocent person have to do all that? That's the thing. It's the demeanor, it's the lies, it's the deletion of texts. It's just, it doesn't add up. I'd say we have to take a further look at it. That's my opinion. You might have a different one. Okay, Mama Bear says, Mommy, yes, Mama Bear? I have a couple of questions for you. Why do you think some husbands premeditate to murder just the wife versus those who kill the entire family? Okay. Do you think one is easier to get away with? How long? Okay, that's the first question, I guess. Well, I think a lot of spouses are probably, I shouldn't say a lot, but I think of the spouses that kill the other spouse, probably the ones that don't kill the rest of the family, it might have been done in the heat of the moment, right? It might have just been something where one of them truly does just snap and kills the wife, kills the husband. We've seen it when that one ran over her husband that was having the affair. We've seen it with, who did we just mention? O.J. Simpson. She was the ex, but still. And then he killed just Ron Goldman, who happened to be there. But Scott Peterson, that was a wife and a child altogether. Would he have killed the child had the child been born? I don't know. Chris Watts did that, right? Took them all out. We have ones like Chris Longo. We have Coleman that takes them all out. I think the Annihilators, and a lot of those Annihilators then kill themselves. So it's hard to say. I mean, I don't have that answer. I'd say a lot that the spouse is just killed. It's in the heat of the moment, and I think they have a greater attachment to their children because they're part of them, so they don't want to kill their children. But I think the ones that are like Chris, that are annihilating their family but not themselves, they're looking to get out and skip out and get that new life, and they really don't have any emotion towards their kids at that point. It's just they're detached. They're totally detached. So I think that Mama Bear's got another question here. Let's see what Mama Bear's got. You guys can weigh in. You guys can answer too. Go ahead, feel free. Talk amongst yourselves. In the live chat, you can talk amongst yourselves. I gotta get Mama Bear's question. Where did Mama Bear's question go? Come back, Mama Bear. Okay, here's Mama Bear. The second one is, do you think one is easier to, oh, we did that, okay. How do you think NK's parents, how long do you think NK's parents knew about the affair with CW? I don't know. She doesn't really talk, she hardly talks about her mother. Does anybody hear anything about NK's mother? You hear about the stepmother and the father. I don't know. I don't have a feeling that they knew very long. I think when you listen to Charlotte, it sounds like she's made some bad choices, but they weren't really her fault with guys. And I think, I don't know, she said she took a long time to tell them about that guy that has the BS that we have no idea what kind of BS that he has. She waited, 7 months before she let her parents meet him? Who knows? She might have told them something, but I don't think he met them, and I don't think she said too much to them, until everything was coming out. Okay, you guys can answer. Let's see. Where are we here now? Did you notice the swaying by the DA during the final news conference after the CW sentencing? When he was answering certain uncomfortable questions, especially when he was asked if they have any reason to believe NK was more involved, as well as other questions, it seemed almost as if he was trying not to give out any additional information that should not be released. I do believe CW will return on NK when he falls for another woman who writes to him and persuades him to tell the whole truth to maybe get the case reopened. I don't really remember this way, but I know that if they have something, they're not going to tell it. They're going to keep it close to them, just like they did with this Kelsey Barrett stuff. And they, in the beginning there, they were making it sound like their relationship between Patrick and Kelsey was fine. And I think they told the mother to say the things she did. And we see that they did it to Shanann's mother, like, don't question him, don't threaten him, because we don't know what could be. And I think, yeah, that would be human nature, but I don't know, could it be that they think that it was going to be like a Barrett thing? If Chris didn't confess, they were going to get her in and give her a plea deal like this one tomorrow, which should be interesting. And maybe they feel, well, they got the confession, so, they would have given her immunity with the plea deal, and so just let her go. I don't know. I don't know about that. We'll see. But like I said, if loose lips start talking and she had a bigger part or something, I'm sure they will take a closer look. Okay. Fox's Purple Lolly. Okay. A lot of stuff here. Let's go. She wants your input on this too, guys. So you're on the case. Get in there, get in that live chat, and get ready. Start taking down this. Get your notepad out. This is Fox's Purple Lolly. There are a couple of questions and conclusions I have settled in my mind, and I would look forward to hearing how you feel about them, as well as the fellow MR subscribers. Get ready, guys. 1. I believe this case is so beyond evil, it's indescribable to us, and the main reason so many of us cannot get it out of our hearts and minds is due to the fact that it was and is evil, and that is what evil does. It tries to imprint, to linger, and attach itself to as much as it can, so that it continues on and on. We all have seen how it has brought out the worst in some people, just by discussing it amongst others. People on social media are treating each other in ways that evil smiles upon. Okay, yeah, I agree. I've seen it in action this week. I also believe the lack of the trial has left us all with so many unanswered questions that it makes it impossible for us to let it go. I would agree. I think we feel that more answers will help us to better understand why this happened and possibly help us to know what to look for in preventing it from happening again to ourselves or others, because the Wattses were the onset of family, not so different from ourselves or people we know, and that in itself is scary to us. Sadly, we know that all the questions that are consuming us will most likely never be answered. Thanks for giving everybody the spoiler, guys. I'm not answering. No, I'm joking. Okay. Part of the answers, in truth, have been buried with the beautiful mother and the precious children. Yes, they have. We laid to rest, and the others will forever be locked away in the mind of the monster. Okay, so that was one. And then two, I also catch myself thinking more often that in our quest for all this information we seek, that we are putting too big a bright spotlight on her. I'm assuming she means NK. We are keeping her relevant by her being so much the subject that everybody talks about. She is the topic of so many channels and social media sites. Discussions of her are endless and lends itself to what she truly seeks, fame. I'm troubled by the thought that I am contributing to her nasty and vile ego being fed. I have no doubt that she is basking in all of this, as she knows that if she waits to just short of her becoming irrelevant, she will come out with an exclusive interview and a book, and that publicity will put right back to the top subject of social media. Okay. My skin topic of everyone's conversation. My skin crawls at the thought of her getting off on all this, as she is sitting back basking in these comments. So yeah, that's what I got. Sorry if it's long, but I don't comment much. So you can see I had a bounce. So you could see how I had that bouncing around my brain. Thank you for your opportunity to share. God bless you and yours. God bless you and yours also. And this is the fox. Let me get her name right. The fox is Purple Lolly. Okay, so what do you think? Do you think this is keeping her in the spotlight? Is this what she wants? I do see that a lot of people are focused on her, and a lot of times that is because they feel that somehow, I mean, there's all different ways. Some people feel she had nothing to do with it. Some people feel she was a catalyst and programmed him to do this. Some people feel she was actually hands-on doing some of this. You know, there's also emotions of people that I think you can't look past, that they're looking at their own lives, and maybe something like this has happened to them. Okay, and so maybe they're projecting that anger onto her, and I think vice versa. Maybe many women have been in this position, not where the person's annihilated his family, but maybe in the position that whoever they went with was not totally free. Maybe there's feelings of guilt for that, and then by them seeing all of this onto MK, they're projecting it onto themselves, and so there's so many dynamics there. But I don't think she's getting any pleasure from this at all, because I did see she was waiting for her name to come out, and it seemed like she wanted it to with those police interviews, but now I think because of the level that so many people feel, if it wasn't for her, this wouldn't have happened. I don't think she likes that kind of fame. She could be banking on this to blow over and then come forward with a book or something like that, in the sense that, like Monica Lewinsky did years later. But yeah, those are my thoughts. You guys can put your thoughts down. Okay, so a lot of these questions are like not yes or no, they're just kind of what I think. So this is by Elena. Do you think CW knew about that guy, Jim, that NK was talking about? Wouldn't he be jealous knowing he had a key to her place? I can't believe they didn't interrogate Jim just because she said leave him out of it. Yeah, she said leave Jim out of that. Do I think he would have been jealous? I think he was jealous, and I think he probably didn't show it, but I think when we go back to those interviews and things when she was saying that, oh, well, she was going to tell him that she was going to date other guys, but she wasn't. I think she was using that. And I don't know if she was using Jim as a ploy, but, some people are saying Jim was playing for the other team. I don't know what the deal is on Jim there, but they're saying he's a good family friend. Sometimes Chris can be naive. Who knows what she was telling him? I think if she was trying to use it to make him jealous, she would use it in that capacity. And if she wasn't, she wouldn't. But I'm not sure, because he was also friends with Charlotte. That Charlotte and Jim, their Facebook profiles, they were mutual friends. So there's, a little bit of a triangle there. I'm surprised people haven't, just with the internet and the way it is, like someone purposely trying to strike up a friendship with Charlotte or with Jim or somebody else. I'm surprised. Maybe they are. Maybe they are right now. Charlotte, another drink? Okay. So yeah, I don't know. Okay, Daisy Collins says, what happened with NK? Is she under police protection or more? Under investigation. I just can't understand why she hasn't been dragged over the coals for this. She's clearly being evasive. An innocent person would be begging the cops to take their phone. Okay. All right. And clear their name, but not her. And all the deleted messages. Nah, she's up to her neck in this. And hopefully, time will tell, or Chris will once again, or Chris will, once he sees her outside living her life with a boyfriend. Okay. Yeah. She's not in the witness protection program. I know that's a rumor that keeps going around. She's not in it. Okay. I think she's hiding out somewhere. I think she's, who knows, maybe she has a job working from home at one of those places. Maybe she's selling some Lavelle. No, there's a lot of places you can work from home as it is. Doing things on the computer, and there's more so every day. Maybe she's doing something like that from home. Maybe she's with a relative somewhere. I've heard she's in Utah. I've heard she's in Aspen. I've heard she's in Washington, state. It's all around. It's anybody's speculation. I can't imagine that with the notoriety this case has, that she hasn't been spotted yet. I've heard, she had facial reconstruction surgery. I don't think she did. I don't think she had facial reconstruction surgery. Who's paying for that? She couldn't even get mental health care. Okay, she was waiting for the state to pay for her mental health care. So elective facial reconstruction surgery, the state's not going to pay for that. They're not going to put her in the witness protection program, and I don't believe she could dye her hair. Maybe she could get a different hairstyle, but the voice will probably give her away. Who knows? So yeah, I think it's just going to be a matter of time before somebody flushes her out somewhere, Christina Nicole says, did you mention we'd be discussing the Golden State Killer at some point? I thought you might have a while back. I just got into the case. Very interesting. Why, yes, I did say that. And we will be discussing it. I am getting into the case myself. My daughter has told me when I started this, she said, oh, are you going to be like that writer that goes totally into true crime? And she tried to, hunt. She made it like her life's work to hunt down the Golden State Killer, and she gave him a new name. And I'm like, okay, are you a little into that case? And she's a little bit. But no, I am looking into that, and I have been learning more about that. And you know what it is? Sometimes these killers, and then when they're apprehended, when they're so old, doesn't it give you like a different look at it? It's like, it's just different than had they been captured when they were young, just by how, you know, how we normally feel about the elderly in society. But yeah, he's been laying low for a while. I mean, he had a roast in the oven, I think, when they apprehended him. And he did tell the officers about the roast, and they said, we'll take care of it. It's kind of like in that Escape from Dannemora, Tilly had that chicken in the oven. So I'd say, if, you know, probably people that are out, you know, not looking to get caught, probably shouldn't roast their chicken. But yeah, I am looking into that. I definitely am making notes. I have a notebook. So yeah, we will be discussing that very soon here. Very, very soon here. You know what I noticed though? Every time though I discuss a new case, everybody's still talking about Watson in the comments. Okay. Majority of these questions are about Watts. Okay. I'm just looking at everyone. Okay, here we got a new one. Jen Fishpaw says, with regard to the Peterson case, did you get the feeling while listening to the 911 call that it was a bit too melodramatic? Yeah, I did. I mean, the 911 call, yes, it seemed put on, and, you know, why did he disconnect the phone? Because that she had to call him back again, I think, and he just wasn't acting right. And then he says 15, 20, and he's like not sure. And yeah, it was, as a writer, he probably has a very vivid imagination, and I'm sure he's rehearsed this many, many times. So yeah, I think it was a little too melodramatic. I didn't think it, like, I think it could have fooled some people that are not as skeptical. I think it might have fooled some people just a little bit in the beginning, but then towards the end when he disconnects the phone and stuff, yeah, then I think they'll even think that's a little bit fishy. Okay, Julie A says, is Susan Smith eligible for parole? And if so, is it coming up in the near future? I believe she is eligible for parole in the very near future. Let me look it up for you right now. Okay. She will be eligible for parole on November 4th, 2024, after serving a minimum of 30 years. That's what it said there. Yeah, November 4th, 2024. And then, let me see. That was from Julie A. And then Julie A said, I thought I heard that in August of this year, Scott Peterson's appeal was denied. Have you heard that as well? I don't know. Let me see, Julie. Let me see what I've heard here. Let's see. Okay, August, right on that, Scott Peterson seeks a new trial, blaming celebrity attorney, let's see where we go. Garagos bungled Scott Peterson's 2004 murder trial, the new brief alleges. So Scott Peterson, come on, mister, let's see what he says here. Okay, so this was back in August, like you said, Juliet said this week's habeas filing is the 6th Peterson appeal document and could be the last if the California Supreme Court finds no merit. Or the court could ask for more written briefings that might lend to hearings where both sides would argue appeals issues, either before the Supreme Court justices or in a lower court, perhaps in Modesto. The end goal for the attorneys is securing an order for a new trial. The end goal for his attorneys is securing an order for a new trial. Okay, so now do we have a decision on that? Let's see. I don't think we have a decision on that, Julie. Not that I see. If you guys know, put it in the comments. Let Julie know in there in the comments. I don't see it. I don't see a decision on that. 2 more questions we'll take this time. This is why I want the call on too. We got the caller on the line because then we can open, we'll open it up for calls at the end. It'd be so much better if you guys called in here. Okay. Corinne Brown, just an off-topic observation, not a question. For those who think their comments have been deleted on the other threads, I was noticing these posts are not in order. It goes one post 7 hours ago, next 6, next 8, and back to 7 off topic, but Mommy mentioned people thinking she was deleting posts. Maybe you two was just scrambling them. Sorry, this wasn't a question. That's okay, Corinne. So Corinne's letting us know that maybe the posts are just scrambled up the way that NK's texts were. Yeah, I'm not deleting posts. Okay. Yeah, oh, this Judy Smith. This is funny. There's a post on here that is supposedly CW. I'm fairly sure he would not get time on the internet. This guy that's going around as CW, he's got a very dry humor, and it's really funny. And I have to say, I think he's just a kid or something, just pretending to be CW. The comments I've seen from him have been fairly harmless. Like, somebody had asked something like, "Do you think CW did this?" or something, and he's like, "Listen, I did this alone. It's CW, Chris Watts is his name." And I saw him on another video, and this woman had the camera, I think she had a phone camera, and it was really, really close to her face. And I think he just like, I just had a laugh because he said something like, "I think you need to move the camera closer to your face, because I can only see one pore." I'm sorry. I was reading it and I was in bed, and I just started laughing because the way he said it, I read it like really dry, and I just couldn't stop laughing. And I said, I think he's definitely not. He's not CW. No, no, he's got too much of a sense of humor to be CW. He's got this very dry sense of humor. He's commented on a few of my things, and they've not, he's not nasty or anything. He's way, way less nasty than any of the sympathizers. The sympathizers are nasty. They're out for blood. Okay, so let's see. Okay, here's Lynette Brown. This is the one we'll end on right now, okay? And I didn't even look at it, so I don't know. I'm just going through randomly. If he killed Shanann when she got home, why did he not just clean up after that? Why would he leave her purse, her phone, the kids' meds? He had plenty of time to do that. I would have thought, oh, and the sheet in the bin? Love your vlogs, by the way. I think you're great. Love. Thank you, Lynette Brown. I think he didn't have so much time because maybe he was waiting up really late for her, and then the plane got delayed. She gets home around 2. And then he's up at like 4, so he's got 2 hours. I think it was just poorly planned, and I think he thought, I can't bring all this stuff with me because what if somebody sees it in my truck? Or I don't know what he's thinking. And I think he was thinking, well, he would come home. And we don't know what his plan had been, because maybe his plan had been to go there, do the burial and all of that, and then maybe make up an excuse and leave early. Maybe he was going to leave early, okay? Because he knew he had to do something right away to get rid of the bodies, right? So maybe he thought, okay, I'll kick off early. I'll just say that something's going on. And maybe he was even going to say, I can't reach my wife. Maybe that was the whole, he wasn't even thinking about Nicole, but putting the text forward so that about 12 o'clock, he's going to say, look, guys, I cannot reach Shanann. And that was going to be part of his story and his plan. And then he would go home, and he's thinking he's going to be totally, not interrupted or, not dealing with any of the cops, and then say, get her all of her stuff, get in the Lexus, right? Go out looking for her and throwing that stuff over the sides of a cliff or something. Who knows? I think he thought he was going to be able to get home, or somebody was going to be able to get over there and get rid of that stuff, and just did not expect to be dealing with that. But I'm going to stop it right there because I want to get this up, and I've already been rambling for a long time here. But I'm going to my little support. I have this woman. She's so cute. She is. She said she's going to get in some trouble with the Chris Watts sympathizer, so I have to go rescue her before she gets herself in trouble. But yeah, thanks for having my back and all this, guys. And yeah, they're just outing themselves. I mean, it is very easy when they're coming over. They're outing themselves about what they're doing. So anyway, what can you do? We go on. I will. I still want to go over the rest of that Peterson stuff. I want to answer some more questions. I still have Anthony Brown that I want to go over in that Discovery, his interview. So we'll be doing that in the coming days. I want to look at the Golden State Killer. I want to look at probably get one of those dump kind of episodes on the Golden State Killer and on BTK. And then there was another one. Oh, somebody mentioned, I don't know who it was now. Somebody mentioned that doctor up in Syracuse, because they're up that way or something. I went to a Paul McCartney concert, when was it? 2017 in September in Syracuse. That was the best concert ever, but going in there, I thought we were going to die. It was the most crowd. It was just like a mass mob in there, but he had the best concert ever. I'm so glad that my daughter had seen him she saw him in Brooklyn. I don't know what she said. She just called me up. She said, "Oh my gosh, Mom, I'm getting tickets for all." She said, the four of us. We had two little kids with us, and they went. And they had a blast too, because like one was, maybe that was going to be the only time ever to see Paul McCartney. So she's like, "I got you guys tickets, and you're going." You imagine me, because I'm like a German. I was like, but yeah, it was worth it. And I thought we'd die. I thought if anybody screamed out, active shooter or a bomb, we were all dead. I kept looking for like any place you could escape, because it was just like a mass mob. But I mean, it was a good crowd. They were a good crowd. People that were going, it was crowded, but probably the best concert I've ever been at in my life. He was really, really good. Okay, but that's the one time maybe I've been in Syracuse 2 times. Once for a convention of something. But anyway, so yeah. I'm going to look into that case too, and then I know there was another case somebody said. I have a big list of cases. It's probably a little scary. Well, that's just my mom's. That's her serial killer file. Oh yeah, that was good. Oh, have a seat. Just move my file with the serial killers. No, put it on top of the family annihilators. Yeah, okay. Anyway, I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you again for your support, and sorry that I'm wearing this hoodie like 3 times now. I know. When I'm home and it's like it was icy and today, and I just put on a hoodie, and I like this one. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Bye now.